What's up, everybody? We are back here at the living room, and you already know this familiar, beautiful face. We have the one and only Ian Eastwood, who I just love so many levels, personal, career. I pretty much just a whole interview is going to be about how much I love you. If that's
I love you back.
This is going to be.
Yeah.
You just finished your first Saturday at your first Monsters Back.
Yeah.
Before we even jump into anything, how are you feeling? How are the vibes here?
Oh no, it's always so great to kick off a new Monsters season. You kind of feel the new kids coming in, and then some of the kids that have definitely graduated to alumni status, and you can feel just the change in tide and energy, and it's always good to just get a first take on where everybody's at for the season.
Absolutely.
And so far I feel definitely an excitement from the students to kind of tap in to training more this year. I feel in past years there's just been sometimes a little bit of tension around who's going to be the new kids this year and who's going to be
the stress.
But this year I'm feeling kids are genuinely just excited to see what am I going to learn this year.
Absolutely.
So I felt that so far in the air.
100%.
Yeah.
And obviously we've started our new Foundation Fridays. Little plug, Foundation Fridays in every city on the Monsters Dynasty Tour this year. Junior, intermediate levels first, and then advanced level, and it's every Friday night, so make sure you guys are in those foundation classes. As somebody who's super heavy and super studied in foundational styles, how do you feel about this remarriage actually, in this kind of coming together of convention world and this Foundation Friday street style?
To me, this is probably the single most important element of a Monsters weekend, because as my dance career has gone on, I'm just learning how valuable it was for Andye and Becky to bring in specifically Pop and Pete and Mr. Wiggles to the early, shout out to my mentors, my teachers, my life goal people. And they really laid the groundwork for me as a hungry dance student to not only learn about an entire culture all in one fell swoop, but also learn the actual steps and the history in real time as I'm learning about dance. So as I got older in my dance career, I found how many other amazing dancers I would meet that didn't have this experience.
Absolutely.
To be able to train correct foundation from OGs, from creators. And I started to realize, whoa, the fact that I not only learned popping, but learned popping from Pop and Pete and Mr. Wiggles is a whole different category in and of itself.
Yes.
So, even getting to meet someone like Brian Puspos later on, who became a dance partner of mine, he'd be looking at me and talking to me dude, I can't believe you actually got to learn from them in real time.
Yep.
And when you're young, you don't know the difference or know any better. It's just your teacher, because you're just being taught to, have respect in class and have etiquette. And the fact that some of these kids are going to be able to learn from creators, from OGs of these dance styles in real time is going to be gold for them as their dance career.
100%. If you could do me a favor before we move on, if you can look, if you were talking to these kids who are kind of going into, this is for y'all, going into these street styles and foundational classes, what's something that either are pieces of advice or something that you think could be helpful? Because I know it can be difficult at times to be in those classes.
So for me, I think the most important thing to focus on when you're in a foundation street style dance class is to know that this is really the purest, most rooted form of dance that you can find. These dance styles and dance steps are created by people in a specific place at a specific time for a specific reason, and very often we in dance choreography or commercial choreography classes are trying to follow a sequence for a reason that's very specific and commercially tailored. But when you're learning these dance styles, you're really learning the language of dance, and you're learning words through dance styles that you can then speak with as your own creator or your own creative, and you're basically getting building blocks to be able to speak in dance. And I think that that's like the most valuable thing that you can do for yourself as a dancer.
Absolutely. Take that note, y'all, for real. I'm gonna be watching y'all.
Yes.
So as you can see, clearly we're sitting here in our newly set up Monsters living room. And for those of you out there, actually this wasn't a collaborative idea with Monsters, myself and Ian.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what was going through your head when you
Yeah.
were kind of giving, your thoughts and setup of this.
So for me, like, obviously I grew up coming to Monsters from as young as 12 years old, and being literally a child coming to this dance convention. When you're a kid, you're still just a kid. You might be super excited about dance and you might be over the moon with what you're learning, but you also still want to have downtime and playtime and be able to meet your new friends and talk about the things that you're learning or discovering, or maybe get even mentored by someone who is a little bit older than you. And as time goes on and we see that these relationships have developed from mentors to students to friends to all different types of things, the thing that's hard about dance conventions is that this is happening all over the hotel in just random pockets in like a little area by the bathroom or by the staircase or by the lobby. And while that is organic and really cool, I think that very often dancers, being people who understand kind of space and kind of like ebb and flow of things, I feel like every convention there's always a space where all the dancers kind of gravitate towards.
Absolutely.
And they kind of hang there, and maybe they freestyle there after class, or they rehearse their routines, or maybe they're going over the audition. And there should be a space where those dancers can know that that's kind of the designated space, like almost like when you play a video game on the map, like your home base, you know,
exactly.
of where you can go to when there's nothing happening in between classes, or even if there is stuff happening in classes and you kind of just need a break for a second. And like some kids learn in different rates and different ways, so to be able to have something that's like both educational and like kind of an open forum for the kids to participate in a way that they see fit, I think is like super important to add that social element into like the event, because when we're all taking class, sometimes it can feel like we're all just facing this wall and we're all putting our energy all in one direction. And so it's nice to have that be broken up to where people can face each other and talk and not have to dance either, and just like talk about maybe the more like cerebral, like intellectual parts of dance. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's important, I think.
100%. Like something you spoke about earlier today, and I know it's a big theme for Monsters, is the whole creating community and connection and being a bridge between generations and styles and like teacher to student. And I really I'm so excited about this space because it's something small, but it's so significant. And I personally can't wait to see how it grows.
Yeah,
Lasty but not leasty.
Yeah.
So we brought you over here. So Ian, this is the first time, obviously, it's his first city on tour, his first time seeing the Wall of Fame, and there's quite a few photos of baby Ian. And also photos of big grown Ian, which are super crazy.
So crazy.
If you could say anything to any of those baby Ians right now, what would you say?
Oh, that like immediately made me emotional. Oh, man, dang. I think what I'd say to myself is just to be more like just patient and just like I think the reason that I loved Monsters so much is because I felt accepted here, and I think I would tell myself to be patient and not in a rush to be even more accepted, and just like allow myself to be just exactly where I was at every step of the way. And I think I felt so good coming here that I was in such a rush to get to the absolute top level that I could be at here. I remember being in school and drawing the Monsters speakers in the stage and saying that I wanted to teach here someday.
Wow, that's epic, actually.
Yeah, like almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I think that's great that I had those goals, but also I think there's a level that I put a certain pressure on myself that once I had a goal that I like expected that goal to come to fruition, and like some amount of time that was a metric that is a child's metric that is not also so rooted in like reality and like just being like a little bit more just truly accepting of myself, because that's what this place was giving me. And I think that while I felt that inside, deep inside, I think there was still a resistance or like an urge to like be more than I could be. And
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And so I would say to all the little Ians there is like, you'll get there. Because I'm here.
You sure are, and honestly, 1,000,000%. No, your voice, make me emotional.
Yeah.
Your voice and your point of view is so needed, and I hope you know like how appreciated you are, not just at Monsters, but sincerely, like you have made such a mark in the dance industry, and you're so needed, and we're so grateful. Like, not just human level, like you've done so much, honestly, and we really love you. Oh Lord. Me and Ian are never going to sit at this table ever again together, ever again. Honestly,
that's so nice.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you for sitting down with me, because I normally hate this, but I will do it with
that
you
was
any
such
day.
a like crazy question. That threw me for a loop.
Thank you guys for joining us. Listen, we're real life here. This is Living Room. These are real conversations. These are real connections, real love. We'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.